Zoom is not, YouTube is not happening, then leave it. It's already 4:25. YouTube is just an option. Zoom is main. आप रेटर को फोन कर लेना, मैं बोल दूंगा.
Attendance form link is already there. I have shared it again. So now mainly what attendance form link is already there. I have shared it again. So now what attendance form link is already there. Let me share my screen with you. Now, what are the main issues? What are the main problems that a student in their first coding class faces is the first issue is what is coding, what is the term coding or programming, and how to do it. A kid always thinks it's a very complex kind of a technicality that we need to learn, and then we have to do it. Now there is nothing new to learn in the complete coding process. It is absolutely a process to learn how to think and how to act. Now, coding is not only important for computers. Learning coding is not only important for computers, it is actually very important for your holistic development. For a student's holistic development, coding is very important. When we say coding, it is not only about on a particular language. Like, we are not talking here about C++ or C or Java or Python. We are talking about the entire concept of coding that gives the student a way of logical thinking. Now, coding inspires logical thinking. It activates your reasoning skills. A student starts to think in a particular way. It absolutely increases the way a student thinks and solves problem. It is not only about a computer related problem, it is about every problem they face in their day-to-day life. So coding helps in developing your critical thinking skills and your logical reasoning skills. Now, the first thing that a teacher should tell the student about coding is that coding is not a technical thing. Coding is not only for computers. Coding is about a process of thinking, a process of analyzing, a process of understanding the problem, plan the solution in your mind, and then execute that solution that you have thought about. Coding is basically of three phases: that you have to understand the problem well, then you have to plan the solution in your mind, then on a piece of paper, and then you have to execute that solution to find the exact answer. So now today's session is all about what is coding. Now, I hope you are able to see my screen. So let's begin with how to teach coding to a beginner. Now, here we are talking about our foundational level students, that is classes 1 and 2. Yes, We should start teaching coding from class 1. There is no age to start learning coding, because here we are not talking about any programming language. We are not talking about C or C++ or Java or Python or any other programming language. We are talking about how to develop logical reasoning and critical thinking skills. So this is the requirement, is the perfect age. This age group, 5 plus 6, is the perfect age for a child to build their reasoning skills, because that will be required for their entire life. You know, when you pass out and from school, and when you go to various competitive exams, when the students will grow up, they'll be 15, 16, 17 years of age, and they'll be taking part in various competitive exams. Then they will require their reasoning skills and critical thinking abilities. And those abilities are not developed at that age. Those abilities are the root. Those abilities, the reasoning skills and critical thinking skills, should be developed from the age group of 5, 6, when their brain is getting developed. So it is this time, this is the perfect time, perfect age, when the students should start learning about coding. So here we are talking about how to teach coding to class 1 and 2, that is the foundational level students. Okay, so how to start? Definitely we will not start with any programming language. Definitely these kids, class 1 kid, does not need to learn any programming language. They need to enable their thinking capabilities. They need to think critically, and they should put reason in their thinking. So how to start that? So for that, we will start with sequencing. Yes. So the first thing is the students should learn how to sequence things. This is the first step towards critical thinking. This is the first step, that how to sequence their day-to-day life things. Now here, though, so when you teach sequencing, you use some pictures, you use their day-to-day experiences. Like here, a child is potting a plant. Okay, so what is the first step? The seeding. Okay, then watering the seeds. Then when they water the seeds, it will start germinating. Then the plant comes up and gives us flowers. So these are the steps. So sequence. So give them some pictures. And, you just ask them, what is the first picture? What is the second picture? What is the sequence? Ask them to talk about their daily life sequence. So the books or the material for teaching you are using, that should have their daily life things. For example, here there is a sandwich. So you can discuss this example, that you have seen your parents or your mom making a sandwich for you. So when you prepare a sandwich, what you do? First, you take the bread, then you apply butter on it, then you put the cheese or the vegetables or whatever you want to put it in the sandwich, and then you cover up with another slice of bread, and your sandwich is ready. So these are the steps. Is the sequence important? Ask the student. Is the sequence important? Yes, the sequence is important. Now you tell them with an example, that if you mix up with the sequence, if you don't follow the sequence, let's say you take the first bread and you take the second bread and you then put all the vegetables and butter on it. Will it be a sandwich, a proper sandwich eatable? No, it won't be. So the sequence is very important. So then talk about what they do every day, like from the time of waking up and till the time they reach school. What is the sequence in their daily routine? So here you can show using the picture, a picture like this you can see on the screen. something like this, that you get up, then you brush your teeth, then you go and get fresh, then you take bath, and then you get ready, you wear your school dress, you pack your school bag, you get ready, you eat your breakfast, and you go for school. So what is the sequence, what sequence they do follow? So here this, you can ask the students to sequence their everyday routine. So you can show these kind of pictures, or you can show these kind of things, or your books or your study material should have these kind of things, that the student should think, and they can sequence their everyday life. So when they start thinking and putting things into sequence, there they start understanding the system. There is a system in everything. This is the first step towards critical thinking, that they should know how to sequence a thing. What is the first step? What steps should come one after the other? And where to end? What is the last step? This difficulty many students face. You very well know, who teach very small kids, that the kids struggle with sequencing things. So start with their everyday life, what they do, what their parents do, what their mother is doing, what their father does, what their siblings do. So discuss their everyday life sequence, like from the time they enter the school and the time they leave the school in the afternoon. So discuss them since the morning you entered the school till the time you leave the school. What is the sequence that you follow? So that is very important. First thing for critical thinking is proper sequencing. Then, when they start understanding the sequences, let them understand about patterns. Make them understand patterns. Now, first of all, start with very basic patterns, like the patterns of colors. Give them some blocks or show them these kind of pictures, or your books or study material should have these kind of things that shows pattern, that there is a pattern in the like colored blocks, blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, and this pattern is being followed. So in the next pattern, pattern of shapes, you can make them learn, like circle, square, circle, square, circle, square. So this pattern we are following. There is a pattern below that, yellow, pink, yellow, pink, yellow, pink. So color pattern. So color patterns they can follow. So give them these kind of activity sheets where they can, follow patterns, basic shapes, the shapes they know, basic colors, the colors they are every day they are using, patterns of letters like A, B, B, C, A, B, B, C, A, B, B, C. So this pattern is being followed. So make them do some activities, make them, do some drawing or some writing activities that follow patterns. Give them pattern sheets, like patterns of numbers. You can see 923, 923, 923. So this kind of pattern is being followed. So the child, after sequencing, they should understand following a pattern repeatedly. Something that that is happening in a particular way repeatedly, one after the other in repeat, that is called a pattern. Something, the same thing happening repeatedly in the same way is called a pattern. So ask them identifying pattern. Give them activity sheets like this, very basic, like there are 3 oranges and 1 apple. So I let them identify the pattern and identify the odd one out. Let them observe the pattern. What is the pattern here? And identify the odd one out. Like there are softy ice cream. So there are 3 chocolates, 1 strawberry. They will identify it. So there are balls. So there are 3 basketballs. 1 is football. They will identify it. Okay. So there are grapes. 3 green grapes, 1 black grape, they will identify it. So let them identify the patterns. So let them identify the odd one out. With the patterns, let them identify the shapes also. Like if this thing is circle and there is a ball, they are of similar shapes. The pattern in both the things, the pattern of shapes in both the things is same. So like this, there is a bus and there is a rectangle shape. The pattern in both the things are same. This is called pattern. So there is a triangle sign and there is a triangle shape. There is a square gift box and there is a square shape. So identify the patterns. After identifying these patterns on paper, on book, on activity sheets, help them identify pattern in their everyday objects. Like if they see their school dress also, there is a pattern. If they see any shirt or any garment, like here is a sweater, there is a pattern in every design. Whatever you wear, whatever dress you wear, there is a pattern in every design. There are patterns in buildings, there are patterns in walls, there are patterns in floor tiles. Ask them to identify the patterns in walls, identify the patterns in like apartment buildings, identify the patterns in carpets. Okay, identify patterns in trees. A tree also have a pattern. There is a pattern, like there will be a stem, there will be branches, there will be leaves the similar way. One tree has a pattern, like neem tree has a different pattern, banyan tree has a different pattern, peepal tree has a different pattern, rose plant has a different pattern. So let them identify those patterns. A leaf is the basic thing to identify pattern. Ask them identify patterns in leaves. So pattern means a same thing that is being repeated in the same way again and again. Very basic requirement for reasoning skills, for critical thinking. So here we start teaching students how to code. Now they don't even know that they are learning coding, but this is the way to make them think critically, to make them learn reasoning skills. Start with sequencing, start with patterns, start with their everyday life objects, their daily routine, the things they are aware of, the things they are watching every day, that the things they are using every day. So start with those basic things they are already aware of and ask them to sequence, ask them to learn the pattern. Now ask them to identify the pattern in everyday life. Even their books, their notebooks have a pattern. The lines are same. So ask them identify those patterns. Now what after sequencing and pattern, give them some good activity books, some good activities, like the books they are using, the books you are using to teach them must have these kind of activities that help them sequence things, that help them think and identify about patterns. Okay, now here, now let me take you to a very beautiful environment of activities that the student can do in the computer lab and at their home also. And this activity platform will be provided to you by us. Like we provide this activity platform to you at free of cost. It is absolutely free and you have to pay nothing. You can use wherever you want, in as many systems you want, in your school, and the students can use it at their home also. It's very easy and the students will enjoy doing these activities without even knowing that they are learning something. So let me take you to this activity platform. So this is GCompress, and let's start this GCompress platform. So Now I hope that you can see the screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? This activity screen? Please show me with a thumbs up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this is the GCompress platform that is absolutely free in any for unlimited number of users. It is not like use it for 15 days or any number of users. And this is absolutely free. And this platform, we provide you this platform for free of cost. It is absolutely zero cost, and you can use it anywhere, on any device also. Absolutely, this can be used on phone or tablets also, and any laptop, any desktop. Please keep yourself on mute. Please keep yourself on mute. So you can use it on any device. Please keep yourself on mute.
नहीं अरे मेरे को नहीं ला रहा।
Please keep yourself on mute.
लोग गाड़ी फंसा देते हैं क्या?
अरे बहुत गाड़ी है बता
फंसा देते जान करके
निकल ही नहीं पाया आपकी। पिछली बार बहुत फंसे थे। तो ये सीधे के सीधे आ जाओ यहाँ बिल्कुल बाजार में आ जाओ और
So, okay. So this is a platform. Now let's start with some activities that the foundational level kids can use to understand reasoning, sequencing, and patterns. So let's go to this penguin that you can see in the second, and here we have an activity called logical association for this age group, and this is particularly to identify patterns. Now here, what pattern you can see? Now, the pattern you can see is this green apple, and that to be replaced with pineapple. So where there is an apple, there should be a pineapple. When there is an orange, there is an orange. So second is orange. So now the student will identify the pattern. What pattern is being followed here above, in the above row, and the student will click there. So what pattern is followed for the apple? The pattern followed is pineapple. So now have to click on pineapple, then on the click on pineapple, and now this is done. So this kind of pattern following. So this kind of pattern related activities the student can do, can learn from here. There are various activities. Let's come to the main screen. And let me click on the first cat. And let's go to another activity, complete the puzzle. So let's go to this activity and let the student identify the pattern of shapes. Now here we have talked about patterns of shapes. Let the student identify the patterns of shapes. There is a bottle. Which shape is similar to the bottle? This. The student will drag this on this shape. If it fits, the student is good in identifying the pattern. So let the students identify the patterns of shapes using this activity, complete puzzle. Now, let's go to another activity. Go to the second last animal. Cow, and clicking on the cow. And from this, let's go to the activity for doing words, because letters will be very small. This is preparatory. A preparatory, I'm not talking about the preparatory. So the letter activities are for 2 small kids. For class 1 and 2, you can use the word activities. And for the word activities, there are activities are there where I'm using ordering sentences. Now, ordering sentences, there the student.
Sorry to disturb, ma'am. Very much chaos is there. You're not at all
How much
audible
chaos is
clearly.
there? Why? Teachers,
Ma'am, a person
mute
named with
yourself.
Abhishek Soni. A person with the name of Abhishek Soni, he has not put himself on mute.
Abhishek Soni, are you there in the session? Please put your mic on mute. Abhishek Soni, put your mic on mute.
सीधी बात करो
Is this fine now?
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. So now here, let the student sequence the words of a sentence, like the dog barks. Okay. So this kind of sequencing the students can do. They can just drag and do it. So here, one after the other, the words will come and the student can drag the words and can do the sequencing. So this kind of sequencing is absolutely integrated with other subjects. Absolutely. Learning computer is always integrating with other subjects. Here, the students are polishing their English skills also. They are learning about sentence development and correct sequencing of words in a sentence. So just now, in the beginning of the session, I told you that coding is about holistic development. So when you learn sequencing, you absolutely learn how to sequence your words in a sentence. It will definitely help them in their vocabulary skills also. When they grow up, when they think about talking on some topic in English, they will think about the words are there in their head, but they need to sequence it properly to talk. So learning coding at this stage means through patterns and sequencing is the way of holistic development. So let's take one more activity, and that activity can be let's take this one. Now in this activity, we have various mathematics related activities. So let's go to the numeration for class 1 and 2 kids. We don't want to go to arithmetic. That can be a bit difficult. And in numeration, there are many activities, there are so many activities. we are talking about sequencing. So let's choose number sequence. So here is number sequence. They know the numbers. They just have to click in a sequence like 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and they get a beautiful shape. So in this way, they are just clicking on the numbers, and in this activity, following the sequence of numbers, they will be getting different shapes. Very interesting activities. This platform in itself is very interesting. So absolutely wonderful platform. So let's come back to the discussion that these kind of activities have these kind of activities. So you have those kind of study material handy with you that let you do these kind of activities, that let students do these kind of activities in the class or at home or at school, and they learn by doing. So students, while playing, absolutely this is for class 1 and 2 kids, this is just a play. These kind of activities are a game for them, very interesting. But they don't even know that they are, along with playing, they are learning too. So after sequencing and patterns, when the students go to the next step. What is the next step? Let's say that was for class 1. This is for class 2. The next step is stepwise thinking. Now they know patterns. Now they know sequence. Give them a new task and ask them to think stepwise. For example, planning a birthday party. Here and in this book, in our book, we give this example. You can take any example. So planning a birthday party. So make this a discussion in the class that how do you plan a birthday party? Let's say your younger brother or sister has a birthday. How will you plan it with your parents? So what are the steps? Different students can say different things. That is okay. So let them plan a birthday party in their head and then make it a discussion in a class. And then you just keep noting down the steps that these are the steps. So whenever you do a task, whenever there is a task in front of you, take it as a problem and plan the solution in steps, whatever is the problem. For example, you see your mother making tea. So making tea is a task. Now, what are the steps involved in it? Think stepwise. For example, ask the student, you have to grow a plant. I am giving you a seed and you have to sow it and grow a plant. What will be the steps? So ask the student to think a problem stepwise. So stepwise thinking makes the problem easier, makes the solution easier. So when the students start thinking stepwise, they find the solutions easily. So give them tasks like writing a letter and sending it to your grandparents, or packing a gift. Let's say your friend has a birthday and you are going to give a gift to your friend. What are the steps to do the things, like from the purchasing of the gift to wrapping it into a gift paper to going to their place to give the gift? Everything has a step. So ask the students to do something stepwise, to think about some steps. Now give them this kind of activities. You can ask them to color. So drawing a fish or coloring a fish stepwise. So what is the first step to draw a fish? Making an oval. This is the second step, third step, fourth step. So they will find it so very easy to draw a fish when they are drawing it stepwise. So let them do something stepwise. A very simple task, they can do that task stepwise. So stepwise thinking is very important, just like arranging a school bag as per the timetable. So what is the step 1? Taking your bag, then checking your timetable, then take out your books and notebooks, whatever is required to put in the bag, then put everything, including pencil box and diary and everything, into your school bag properly. These are the steps you follow. So ask them anything that is from their everyday life to put in steps, like washing clothes, making a sandwich, or baking a cake, or whatever it can be. So these kind of activities are required. Make the students get involved in this kind of activities, so that, you know, that includes their critical brain into stepwise thinking, that includes their brain into reasoning, that includes their brain into managing something properly or ordering something properly. And order is very important in life. So these kind of thinking skills are very much required. So this is for small students, for the kids. Now the kids have learned how to sequence, how to pattern, how to think stepwise. Now they will move to class 3, and they grow up into other classes when they will start learning actual programming languages. Now, when they start learning programming languages, what is the way to teach them? When they start learning programming languages, don't take them to computer labs. Absolutely not. Let them use pen and paper. Let them use pencil to write the codes in their notebook. Let them write the codes. Let them think and write the entire plan that they are talking about, that they are thinking about. Let them plan the entire solution and write. Never take them to computer lab. Never expose them to those packages like Scratch Junior and all. Scratch is a very good programming language that uses blocks, that absolutely encourages critical thinking, but not Scratch Junior. Don't take them to lab and sit them in front of Scratch Junior. You must have done that. Many schools are doing that. But at the end of the session or at the end of the year, how much coding skills the students develop? You check, you are the teachers, you check and you get to know very minimal. The coding skills are very minimal. Coding is not about your ability to use that platform or to use that package. Coding is the ability to absolutely learn how to think, how to do critical thinking, how to do reasoning. So when you expose students, the first coding is when you start activities like Scratch Junior and all, and you take them to computer lab, they just identify that platform. They just play on that platform and come back to class. What is the takeout? Nothing, because no critical thinking is involved, no solution search is involved. Struggle is involved. Like they have to struggle, they have to give some problem to their brain to search for the solution. So whenever you are beginning the programming, you are introducing some programming language to the student, the perfect way to use is this kind of study materials. You use these kind of things where the code is not written. The screenshots are provided in your study material. The exact screenshots are provided so that the student can write bug-free codes. Writing bug-free codes is the biggest achievement the student feels when they start coding. Bugs are, they demoralize the students. The errors demoralize the students. Imagine a class full of 30, 40 students, and out of 30 students, 20 students are getting errors on their screen. And you face that in the computer lab, that 20 students are getting errors in their computer screen, and everybody is screaming, ma'am, sir, please help, please help. Now, in a lab, period of 30 minutes or 40 minutes, how much attention a teacher can give to every individual student? It is absolutely not. So a student who went to the computer lab to write, let's, for example, 5 programs or 5 codes and execute them, they end up doing only 1 or 2 codes because they get so many errors, and always the teacher is required to remove the errors, to help them. So make the students confident with bug-free programs, confident with error-free codes. And how the codes will be error-free? Don't follow those books where the codes are written, codes are printed, because printed codes, when the students read the printed codes and write them on the screen, they end up making errors, because the printed text is not always what you see on the computer screen. Give them those books that have not printed codes, that have screenshots. Like here, you can see the Scratch a screen. This is from a Scratch chapter. Here the code is given as a screenshot, and along with the code, the output is also given as a screenshot. Like you write the exact code, you use the exact blocks, you will get this exact output. So if you are not getting this output, there must be some problem with the blocks. So you match the blocks, whatever is given in the book. Same with HTML. For higher class students, for example, class 6 or class 7, if they are writing an HTML code, give them a book that has screenshot like this. Here, there is a screenshot of a code. So when they will not get the desired result on the screen, they will match it with the code with a screenshot of the code given in the book, and they will match it, and exactly with that match, they can debug their codes on their own. Same with Python. If you are teaching Python or C++ or Java, use a book that does not have the codes written, that have the exact screenshot, because you know, when you are teaching Python, the keywords turn into different colors, the statements turn into different colors. So when they have the exact screenshot like this, you can see, of the Python code, they will know where they have done the error, where they have gone wrong. Because if the input doesn't turn into this purple color, then they will get to know they have done something wrong with the spaces, or some punctuation marks or something. So if they are not getting the exact color, the exact output that is given in the book, then they themselves get to know that what error they have done. They can match it with the screenshot given in the book, and they can correct it as per their own. You can just give an instruction that check the code given in the book and write exactly that is given. Because here, when the books use the screenshot method, there is no probability of students going wrong. There is no probability of getting errors in the output or no output, because they have to match with the exact thing given in the class. So coding is very important, and the root, the base, the foundational level, class 1, 2, learning patterns, sequencing, and thinking stepwise is very important. And the material you are using to teach them coding is also very important, because the students are totally dependent on the teachers, and the material you use is going to benefit them to learn coding in a better manner. So why sequencing and patterns are important? You can note this. The sequencing and patterns are important to understand the steps in every process, where a process should start, what is the middle part of the process, and where a process should end. It improves creativity and reasoning skills. It develops critical thinking, and it helps in problem solving. It increases your planning ability and enhances the logical thinking. So patterns and sequencing are very much important when we talk about coding. So coding, the first phase of coding is learning patterns and sequencing.